This is James Dutton for Round 8 Boxing. Delighted to be joined by Abdul Khan. Abdul, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you, mate?
Yeah, very good. Thanks for joining me today. Um, let's go back to your last fight first of all. Obviously, fighting out in Ghana, a bit of a different experience for yourself. Obviously, you're heading back out there again for your next fight. What was that experience like?
So I'm heading back to Nigeria back this time, or
Excuse
in Africa. Yeah, yeah.
me. No,
But
yeah.
the experience last time was amazing. Something to definitely look forward to again in Nigeria. But it was something, that I remember forever.
What was the energy like? Try and compare it to your previous fights in the UK, things like that. What was the energy like from the crowd?
Erratic. It was crazy. Something you can't really describe. Words can't really describe. It was amazing.
And for you, you fought, a guy in his hometown, really. You was the away fighter essentially. Did you feel like you was heading into Lions Den?
Yeah, 100%. That's always the mindset before you get into a ring.
Do you thrive off that, I suppose, pressure in some way?
100%. Definitely.
Obviously, a great performance from yourself. You've got the stoppage. You've not had many on your record. It's your first stoppage for a couple of years. Does that make it even sweeter to get that victory?
Yeah, definitely for sure. Just improving in the gym with my coach Alex. So we're working on a lot of tactics and got a display on the night.
Talked about working with Alex Matvienko, obviously a very, very intelligent man. A boxing historian. He's somebody who studies boxing. He loves boxing through and through. What's it like to work with Alex?
It's amazing to work with somebody like Alex, somebody who knows the sport in and out. Not just just inside the ring or outside the ring. And he's a very intelligent man, like you just said. And I'm very privileged to work with somebody like him.
What's it like in those between rounds? You get your 30 seconds, minute, or however long it may be with Alex to obviously try and compose, listen, take on information and advice and instructions. What's he like in those times between rounds during a fight to deliver that message and getting it through to you?
He's very calm and he's very composed himself, where it kind of takes that pressure off yourself because you can understand him and he breaks things down in simple terms, not something where it can kind of make you confused. He does it very simple and someone very easy to understand, and he gets down to the fighters level where you can bounce off each other and you can relate.
How important is that for you personally as a fighter to have somebody like that in your corner who you mentioned, you know full well you're going to understand him. He's not going to throw out more information than he needs to. You know you're going to take on board what he's going to say. How vital is that for a fighter?
It's massively, massively important for a fighter because, in the heat of battle, you don't really want to be, overloaded with a lot of unnecessary information. It's just about simple terms, and that's what he's very good at, including in the gym. He's very good at breaking fights down, breaking fighters down, and passing that knowledge on to his fighters.
Definitely. Let's go back to the beginning, Abdul. Talk about your start in boxing. When, why, and I suppose why did you carry on? Did you fall in love with it straight away?
Yeah, I started when I was young with at Alex's gym, and then I done my amateur career there at the starts of it. Then I left when I was 14. I went to Bury ABC, and I won my national titles there and boxed at high level with Mick. And then I came back to Alex after 11 pro fights, and it feels like home again. And I love the sport. I do it. I do it with a passion. I do it every single day. I look forward going to the gym every morning.
Is it nice? It's almost come full circle that you're back with Alex from obviously you had him your first coach and now you're back with him again as a pro.
Yeah, 100%. It's like a full circle moment. But that time kind of give me an opportunity to see what's out there, explore and learn about boxing in other ways. And yeah,
Take it back to your amateur days. You mentioned there, obviously, national titles. You were successful as an amateur. Looking back now on what you know now as a professional after 13 pro fights, how, firstly, proud are you of your amateur career? And is there anything that you would change?
nothing really, nothing I would change. Everything that you go through happens for a reason. So, I take it as experience. And yeah,
Obviously 13 fights in as a professional. Next fight coming up very soon. For you, what's the plan? I know you're probably not looking past this fight, you're not looking after this or at anybody after this, but what is the plan for Abdul Khan in the next, say, 6, 9, 12 months?
Just keep pushing on, busy, keep active, stay in the gym, keep learning, and whatever good opportunity comes by, we'll definitely be taking that with both hands.
Obviously, the last fight and this fight coming up, promoted by Amir Khan. How much of a help has he been for you?
He's been very supportive in my career whenever I needed advice, wherever he could help, he's always been there. So thanks to him.
Is it also, does it help more because he's been there and done it at the highest level in the ring?
Yeah, for sure, he's seen what the business is about. He also, there's no better man, he's been there, done it. He's got the t-shirt. So when it comes to advice, you can't beat it.
Do you feel any pressure to try and sort of continue his, I suppose his legacy, coming from Bolton, fighting, now he's retired. Do you feel any sort of pressure to continue the great work and the foundations he's laid?
Nah, not really, because I'm on my own journey and I just take him as motivation and inspiration. Someone, who I look up to, but there's zero pressure whatsoever. I'm my own person, so I'll take that as that.
No, absolutely. How much of a inspiration is he to you in terms of fighting?
Massive, he's from my neck of the woods and he just shows like if he can do it, then anybody can do it. And you got to be very hard work. You got to put the work in and very dedicated and disciplined to your craft.
How important is it to see somebody, you mentioned there, obviously he's from your neck of the woods, obviously Bolton, when you're growing up and you're just starting out in boxing, you see somebody like Amir who's doing what he's doing, Olympic silver medal at such a young age, becoming a world champion and being extremely successful and, in my opinion, one of the greatest British boxers ever, really. And to see somebody from your area as a young man and go, actually, I can do this as well. How much does that help as a young man?
Massively, because it gives you a purpose as well in life, So you thought you're on the straight, narrow path and you're doing, good for your family. So it's very beneficial in that sense. It gives people a purpose and drive and just not messing about, on the streets and doing the wrong stuff. So in that sense, it's very, very good.
And obviously, you mentioned fight coming up very soon. Talk to me about at this moment in time, camp. Where are you at the moment? How does your camp look like? When do you start slowing down? When does the sparring start, stop, etc.? What is camp like for Abdul Khan?
So, but to be fair, like, camp is, we're not really in camp because we're always doing it all year round. So far, it's easier for us in the sense of we're just taking, we're not taking over, but, we know when to put our foot down and when to take our foot off. So, the weight is bang on because, I'm always in the gym. I'm always looking out at what I eat. And I'll probably slow it down, whenever Alex says, whenever he feels like, it's best to slow down and then ramp it back up again because, it's all about peaking at the right time. And he's a master at that. So,
And it obviously works for you to obviously stay in the gym all year round. Some people say you may be overworked, overtrained, but like you say, as long as you bring it up and speed it up to your peak at the right time, then surely it's a good thing that you're on weight constantly, that you're in the gym, you're ready to go whenever that phone may ring.
yeah, like you just said, the phone may ring whenever and it can be an opportunity that you can't turn down. So, we believe that you got to stay ready at all times.
Just finally, Abdul, I always like I said, I know you're not looking past this next fight, but I always like to ask fighters what their dream is, what their ambition is. Of course, world titles is what everybody says, but aside from that, for you, what do you want to look back on your career when you've retired and say, I'm proud I've done this?
Probably inspire as many people as possible, as well as winning world titles for sure.
Of course. Fantastic. Abdul, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it, and best of luck for next fight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.